Most homeowners never think about their plumbing until something breaks, and summer is the worst time for that surprise. A few simple fixes right now can save you thousands. After 30 years in the trades, I have seen these same problems year after year. Today, we are going through 7 plumbing fixes to tackle before the heat sets in. Stay with me because number 6 on clogged drains surprises people every time, and the bonus tip is one most professionals never share. The first fix on our list is your outdoor hose bibs and spigots, and if you have not checked these since last fall, now is exactly the right time. Most homeowners walk outside in the spring, turn the handle, and assume everything is fine. But freeze and thaw cycles over the winter can crack internal washers, corrode the stem, and loosen fittings without leaving any visible sign of damage on the outside. You will not know there's a problem until you have water pooling against your foundation or a water bill that suddenly stops making sense. Start with a simple inspection. Turn on the water at the bib and let it run for a full minute. While it is running, get close and watch where the bib meets the exterior wall. Look for dripping at the threads, moisture seeping around the fitting, or water trickling down the siding. Even a slow and steady drip can waste thousands of gallons over a summer. And on a metered system that shows up on your bill quickly. Check the spigot handle next. It should turn smoothly with no grinding or stiffness. If you feel resistance or hear metal scraping, the packing nut inside may be worn, or the stem washer may have deteriorated over the cold months. Both are easy fixes. Tightening the packing nut takes about 30 seconds with an adjustable wrench. Replacing the stem washer costs less than $2 and takes around 10 minutes with the water supply shut off. If the bib is cracked, heavily corroded, or more than 15 years old, plan to replace it. For most homes, installing a frost-free silcock is the right call. The Woodford Model 17 is one I have used for years, and it holds up well in all climate zones. The longer stem design keeps the shutoff point inside the wall, where it stays warmer, protecting the valve even during late cold snaps that can still hit in early spring. Before you head back inside, check whether any garden hoses were left connected over the winter. A hose left on a frost-free silcock prevents water from draining back out of the bib body the way it is designed to. That defeats the frost-free function entirely, and internal cracking may have already occurred without any visible sign. Disconnect any hoses. Inspect the bib carefully. And if you see cracks or heavy mineral buildup around the threads, replace it before the heavy watering season begins. The second fix to address before summer is a running toilet, and more specifically, the flapper and fill valve. These are two small and inexpensive parts that cause more water waste than almost anything else in the average home. The tricky thing is that a running toilet is not always noisy. Sometimes it is just a faint hiss in the background, or an occasional refill cycle that kicks on for no obvious reason. People hear it, chalk it up to an old toilet, and move on. That is a costly habit. A toilet with a worn flapper or a failing fill valve can waste up to 200 gallons of water per day. 200 gallons every single day, running silently through the tank and straight down the drain. Over a full summer, that adds up to thousands of gallons, and your water bill can jump by $50 to $100 per month without any other changes in your household. The easiest way to check for a flapper leak takes about 15 minutes and costs nothing. Drop 10 drops of dark food coloring into the toilet tank, not the bowl, and wait without flushing. If color shows up in the bowl after 15 minutes, the flapper is not sealing and water is seeping through. Replacing a flapper is one of the most beginner-friendly repairs there is. Turn off the supply valve at the base of the toilet. Flush to empty the tank. Unhook the old flapper from the ears on the overflow tube and snap the new one into place. The Corky universal flapper fits most toilets and costs around $5 to $7. The whole job takes about 10 minutes. If the fill valve is the problem, you will typically hear it hissing or cycling on and off even when nobody has recently used the toilet. The Fluidmaster 400A is the one I recommend most often. It costs around $12 and installs without any special tools. Shut off the supply, flush the tank, disconnect the old valve, install the new one, reconnect the water line, and you are done. If your toilet is more than 10 years old, replacing both parts at the same time is worth the extra few dollars. You will not have to go back under that tank for a long time. The third fix on our list is flushing and inspecting your water heater. And this is honestly the one most homeowners skip entirely until the unit stops working. Your water heater runs in the background every single day. And while it does, sediment from your tap water is slowly building up at the bottom of the tank. That process happens faster in areas with hard water. Here is why it matters. A thick layer of sediment forces your heating element or burner to work harder and run longer to produce the same amount of hot water. That drives up your energy bills every month, adds wear to the unit, and shortens its lifespan significantly. A water heater that should last 20 years can give out at 12 or 13 if it has never been flushed. You may have also noticed a popping or rumbling sound coming from the unit. That is sediment getting superheated at the bottom of the tank, and it is your heater telling you it is overdue for attention. The process is straightforward. Turn off the power at the breaker or set the gas valve to pilot on a gas unit. Connect a garden hose to the drain valve at the bottom and run the other end to a floor drain or outside. Shut off the cold water supply at the top of the heater. Then open the drain valve and let the tank empty. If the water runs cloudy or brownish, that sediment is exactly what you are clearing out. Once it runs clear, close the drain valve, remove the hose, restore the cold supply, let the tank refill completely, and then restore power or relight the pilot. Never energize a water heater with an empty tank. While you are there, test the pressure relief valve on the side or top of the unit. Lift the test lever briefly. You should hear water discharge into the relief pipe and stop cleanly when you release it. If nothing comes out, or if it keeps dripping after you let go, that valve needs to be replaced before summer arrives. It is a safety device, not a maintenance suggestion, and it should be treated as one. By the way, if you're finding this advice helpful, you should know it's just a small sample of what I've put into my new guide, The Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It's packed with step-by-step instructions for hundreds of repairs that can save you thousands. To grab your copy, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let's continue. The fourth item on our list is your washing machine supply hoses. And this is the one that honestly concerns me most when I think about homeowners who have never given it a second thought. These are the two rubber hoses that connect the back of your washing machine to the hot and cold supply valves on the wall. They're easy to forget about because they sit behind the machine and out of sight, and they almost never cause trouble right up until the moment they completely fail. Rubber supply hoses typically last around 5 to 7 years under normal conditions. Summer heat in a laundry room or utility space can accelerate that deterioration significantly. A hose nearing the end of its life will often show small blisters, soft spots, or hairline cracks near the crimped metal fittings at either end. Those are your warning signs that a failure is on the way. When a washing machine supply hose lets go, it does not drip. It blows open and releases a full stream of pressurized water into the room. If you're home when it happens, you have about a minute before there is serious damage. If you're out for the afternoon, it can run for hours. Insurance companies consider washing machine hose failures to be among the most expensive and most common water damage claims they handle year after year. The fix is simple and inexpensive. Replace rubber hoses with braided stainless steel supply lines. Burst-proof braided stainless hoses are available at any hardware store for around $15 to $20 per pair. Shut off the supply valves behind the machine, disconnect the old rubber hoses, thread on the new. Braided lines hand tight, and then 1/4 turn with a wrench, and you are finished. Check behind the machine twice a year going forward, and your risk of a major flood drops to nearly nothing. The fifth fix we need to cover is your sump pump, and if you live anywhere that gets significant summer rain, this is one you cannot afford to overlook. The sump pump sits in a pit at the lowest point of your basement or crawl space, and its job is to collect rising groundwater and pump it safely away from the foundation before it causes damage. The problem is that sump pumps often sit completely idle for months at a time, and that dormant period can allow the float switch to stick, the impeller to corrode, or the discharge line to become blocked without any obvious warning sign. Testing yours takes about 5 minutes. Pour roughly 5 gallons of water slowly into the sump pit and watch what happens. The float should rise as the water level climbs. Trigger the pump to start, and the pit should be cleared within about 30 to 45 seconds. If the pump does not start, hums without moving water, or runs without lowering the level in the pit, something is wrong and needs to be addressed before the storm season ramps up. Also, follow your discharge line to its exit point outside the house. The end of the pipe should be unobstructed and positioned at least 10 feet from your foundation, directing water away from the building. A discharge point too close to the house just sends the same water back toward the foundation. If your pump is more than 7 to 10 years old and has never been replaced, now is a smart time to get ahead of the problem. The Zoller M53 and the Wayne CDU 800 are both reliable submersible options for residential use. A battery backup unit is also worth considering if your area sees storms that frequently knock out power, since major rain and outages tend to arrive at the same time. Number 6 on our list is slow and clogged drains. And this is the one that tends to sneak up on people, right when the household is most active. Summer means more people home, more cooking, more outdoor activity that leads to more showers and more water moving through your system overall. A drain that was mildly sluggish in the spring can be completely blocked by July. Kitchen drains usually show trouble first. Grease, food particles, and soap residue gradually coat the interior walls of the pipe and slowly narrow the channel over time. The drain may seem perfectly fine under normal use, but the moment you wash a large pot or run the garbage disposal for an extended period, the water backs up into the sink. Bathroom drains collect hair, soap scum, and toothpaste residue and slow down more gradually. You might notice the shower taking longer to drain after a long session, or a gurgling sound as the water finishes draining. That gurgling is air being displaced by a partial blockage somewhere downstream, and it is worth paying attention to. For kitchen drains, I would steer away from liquid chemical cleaners. They can damage older pipes, especially galvanized steel or cast iron, and they rarely solve the underlying problem for long. Instead, try pouring a half cup of baking soda down the drain followed by a half cup of white vinegar. Let the reaction work for about 20 minutes, then flush with hot water. For more stubborn blockages, a hand drain snake or the rigid K45 works well for clearing the clog directly and without chemical risk. For bathroom drains, a simple plastic hair catcher placed over the opening prevents most clogs from forming in the first place. They cost around $3 to $5 and save a considerable amount of frustration. For ongoing maintenance throughout your whole home, BioClean is an enzyme-based drain treatment that breaks down organic buildup naturally and is safe for all pipe materials, including PEX, which rhymes with flex, and CPVC, pronounced CPVC. Used monthly, it keeps your drains running freely without the risks that come with harsh chemicals. The seventh and final fix on our list is getting your irrigation system started properly for the season and verifying that your backflow preventer is working correctly. This one matters more than most homeowners realize, not just for the health of your lawn, but for the safety of your household drinking water. A backflow preventer, sometimes called a vacuum breaker, is a device installed where your irrigation line branches off from the home's main water supply. Its job is to stop water from flowing backward into the potable supply if a pressure drop occurs in the system. Without a functioning preventer, irrigation water that has picked up fertilizer, pesticides, or soil contamination from your yard can be pulled backward directly into your drinking water. Most local codes require a properly functioning backflow preventer on any exterior irrigation connection for exactly this reason. Before starting the system for the season, inspect the backflow preventer visually. It is typically installed above ground near where the irrigation line exits the house. Look for cracked housings, missing caps, or corrosion on the body. Many municipalities require annual testing by a licensed professional, so check your local code requirements before assuming your unit is in compliance. When you do turn the irrigation on for the first time each season, open the main shutoff valve slowly. Turn it about a quarter of the way every 30 seconds and allow pressure to build gradually in the lines. A sudden surge of pressure after a long dormant period can crack a fitting or blow out a sprinkler head, turning a simple startup into an unplanned repair job. Walk each zone after activation and look for broken heads, misdirected spray, or wet patches in the lawn that suggest a line leak underground. Catching those issues early saves significantly larger repair costs later in the season. If you want to manage water use more efficiently, A smart controller like the Orbit Beehive adjusts your watering schedule automatically based on local weather data, which prevents the system from running during rain and reduces waste across the entire season. And now for the bonus tip that professional plumbers swear by, and most homeowners have never thought to check. Find your main water shutoff valve right now and then turn it. Fully off, then fully back on. A shutoff valve that has not been operated in years can corrode and seize up completely. And the moment you need to stop a flood in an emergency is not when you want to discover it will not move. Running the valve through its full range twice a year keeps the stem lubricated and the seat functional. If you have an older gate valve, the kind with a round wheel handle, and it feels stiff or takes more than 4 or 5 full turns to close, consider replacing it with a ball valve. Ball valves use a quarter turn lever design that seals completely and holds up for decades with almost no maintenance. In a real emergency, you can cut off every drop of water entering your home in about 1 second flat. Knowing where that valve lives and confirming it actually works may be the single most important home maintenance habit you ever build. Before you go, I want to make sure you know about my complete guide, the Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It goes way deeper than we can in a single video, with 85 pages covering everything from clearing any clog to replacing your own water heater. If you want to stop wasting money on simple fixes, this book is for you. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to get your copy. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.